Okay, folks, bear with me as I get the camera right. Okay. Okay. All right. So it's going to take a second to see if one or two people come on board. I hope that you all are enjoying your Sunday. It's funny with cameras because when it's like tall wise, it makes you look different than you actually are. And if we do it sideways, which I've tried and people have recommended to me, I can't see comments, so that's not good either. So it's one of the downsides of using a smartphone to do these types of videos. I used to be able to do them on my laptop, but there came a point a few years ago where YouTube did away with the streaming service and now they make you get your own. And I'm still kind of toying with that in my mind whether I want to do that. So, well, I guess I will start talking about a couple things that are on the periphery. So, I want to thank everybody who has been supporting the attunement store on Etsy. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback, and I've done pretty well with it so far. Recently, I added a couple new attunements, the Genius of Good Fortune. I've also added a tektite called Moldavite. If you're not familiar with what a tektite is, it is a when a meteor strikes the Earth, the heat kind of commingles with the Earth and creates a substance, and that would be like Moldavite. But it also these meteorites when they hit a specific area, it gets maybe named by the area. For example, I have one called that I haven't done attunement for. I just like the actual rock. It's called Columbianite because it struck Columbia. So that's how that kind of works out. But these particular rocks have a high vibrational energy. They're combining the power of the cosmos with the earth to create this heaven and earth type of energy that is really good for manifestation. It is good for spiritual growth. Some people have said that it can be an uncomfortable spiritual growth. I haven't really found that to be the case with me or people that I know that I'm close to, but that is the reputation. Possibly these could be for people who may be new to this field, who aren't used to maybe working on themselves much. So perhaps this high vibrational energy is sort of nudging them in a certain direction and creating change quite rapidly. But if you are somebody who is fairly self aware and working on this stuff to begin with, I don't think that that's going to be a factor at all. I'm also about to put an attunement in the attunement store, malachite, popular stone, and it is good for prosperity. So if you want that energy running through you, might be something to check out in the future. I'll put a link in the description as usual. If you have an idea for a particular stone that you think would be a good an attunement, feel free to mention that, especially if it's something that you think would be useful enough that you might want yourself. Because if you want it, maybe other people would want it too. So, okay. But that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to add more than just entities and spirits to the store. I'm actually adding some other types of energies, as I mentioned, crystal stones, that sort of thing. And it will be constantly evolving and expanding because that's how life works. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in my area. You may or may not know this, but I reside in Louisiana. So right now, this is carnival season. And carnival season, Mardi Gras season, is actually lasts, it's not just one day. It lasts from January 6th to February 13th because Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday, will not be, it's not this upcoming Tuesday, but it's going to be the following Tuesday. So there's Mardi Gras on Tuesday, and then there is what we call Lundi Gras, which is the precursor. It is like the foreplay of Mardi Gras. But just to let you know, the season lasts for, you know, 3 weeks. No, actually, that's actually more than four. That's about 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks. So it is Mardi Gras isn't just a day and isn't just parades, even though parades are big. The parades are usually named after something. There used to be a lot of pagan type of names in Mardi Gras, and there still are, things like Orpheus. I think there's an Apollo. There's Bacchus. There was Dionysus. There's a lot of these Roman gods that were part of that. Early Mardi Gras was just very decadent and debauchery, and a lot of it. And in fact, there was a period where Mardi Gras was banned for a while, and until they got their act together. And I think it was the Mystic Crew of Comus that was started back up in 1837. What's not normally known is that in Louisiana, Mardi Gras is such a part of our culture. It's a state holiday, not just in New Orleans, all over the state, all towns, all cities. And it's been a state holiday since 1875. So it's been that way for a long time. And people love their Mardi Gras. On the parades, a lot of times well, the generic stuff is like beads and cups. They'll also throw things that are in line with the theme of the Mardi Gras parade. Uh, like I said, people that are riding in the parades, they'll usually be like, maybe like the crew of Eve, and it'll be like Krewe, just kind of like the Cajun flavor of the changing of the spelling. And they'll throw those things that are in line with the theme of their parade. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of people jumping around, enjoying themselves, a little bit of drinking. There are also things that are suspended, especially in New Orleans, where the center of the biggest activity is. So you'll have things like public nudity and things, kind of cops look the other way. Public intoxications, unless you cause some serious trouble, they'll tend to look the other way. Uh, it's also the only day where you can actually wear masks in New Orleans, possibly in other places, and not get like a ticket for. So you can kind of dress up. It's kind of like Halloween. No one says anything during Halloween when you're dressed up. And it's the same way during Mardi Gras. So one of my favorite things about Mardi Gras, because I like to eat, is king cake. And king cake is pretty good depending on which bakery you get it at. Uh, Traditional Mardi Gras colors are green, gold, and purple. So you'll see kind of the sugar on top. And within And this evolved over the decades, of course. King cakes now are really good. You get like a cheesecake, berry chantilly, all these other type of fancy king cakes, and they can be delicious, and they can be a little expensive too. But it's part of the season, so they'll usually have a baby, which the tradition goes of I think representing the Christ child in there. Now, king cake, there's an evolution to king cake that I like. I enjoy bread pudding, good bread pudding. There was a point where the Whole Foods, not far from where I live, was taking their king cakes, the ones that were still fresh and haven't sold. Maybe it was an unpopular type of king cake. They would take that and create king cake bread pudding. And that, my friends, was absolutely delicious. Uh, you can still get it at a couple restaurants. They no longer serve that or make it at Whole Foods because they don't have the same liberties that they did. At one point, it got even more kind of corporate. And then they were told, okay, you can't be creative and make some of these things. You don't have the same flexibility. You have to make A, B, and C, and we're just not going to make king cake bread pudding. And I was very disappointed, as were a lot of my friends. So, if you have any questions about Mardi Gras, let me know. I've been living here all of my life, so I've been to a lot of Mardi Gras. All right. So, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the videos? And if, of course, people don't show up, they can always get this video. I'm going to post it onto my YouTube channel. All right. Let's talk about the power of the Psalms. The Psalms in the Bible represent poetry, songs, Hebrew hymns, and they're used for particular magical purposes. They're used in Southern folk magic, hoodoo, um, some other places. There are plenty of books that if you want to know, okay, so what particular psalm goes with what particular magical purpose, there are plenty of books on that. All you have to do really to get an idea of what that is to kind of read the words, and some of it is the words are metaphorical, but you can kind of glean from a couple words what purpose you can use it for. If you're looking, and I'll give you some suggestions right now. So, if you were looking for something like prosperity, abundance, financial enhancement, you'd use like Psalm 112, I think 65, and Psalm 8. Those are good ones. If you were to look at kind of a general all purpose, love, good luck, um, love, good luck, finances, all that type of stuff, then Psalm 23. If you were to look for protection, then Psalm 91 would be good for that. Now, there are a lot of different ways to use the Psalms. You could say them with a little bit of intention and force. And while you're saying it, in the back of your mind, kind of intending what you're going to use it for. What other people do is they will take it and use it with a particular other magical working for the same thing. So it'd be like a bigger project, and within that project is the Psalms. Hello, Psalm 72 for financial improvement. Well, Scarlet Shield, I hope that it worked. So one of the things you can do is say it. Of course, you can. I'm a big fan of the 7-day candles. The ones with the glass. You can take the write it on a sheet of a small piece of paper, and either put it under the candle, put it around it, or you can have it, say it, burn it, maybe in a fire safe container, take the ashes and put it into that 7-day candle. It won't really light up because it's ash now. So, but what it is, it's representing the words of the psalm and adding it to, let's say you were doing Psalm 112 for prosperity, and you had like a green easy money candle. You put that in there, do your other dressings for the candle, light it, and then you're good to go. Something like that. Other people will do things like if you're into spiritual baths, people who will put herbs, maybe sea salt and bath water, take a spiritual bath to cleanse their aura, to program the aura for whatever magical purpose. Some people will take that piece of paper and put it in their bath water. And of course, paper's gonna come apart and stuff, so you have to take that out. But what's happening is that the thought is that the ink, which was written with the words, is going into the bath water. So again, this is kind of like your intention, your materia, and now you're using it in your bath water. So it all connects on some level. So that was the quick and dirty of the power of the Psalms. I think I say the Psalms at least weekly when I want to add extra power to things. And to say them, because they're in a sacred book, and to say them, you can actually feel some of the power you kind of welling up within you. So because this is a sacred book, like I said, and it has a history behind it, and then there is the people that are connected with the intention of using this psalm for this purpose through time. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, hey, Dottie, the psychic. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Good to see you. So, check out the Psalms, do some research if that's your thing. Some people are turned off by it because they don't want to do magic that is connected with any type of Judeo Christian tone, and I can certainly understand that. But as someone, I guess, who identifies more like a sorcerer, I'll use anything and everything as long as it works, and as long as it's something that I can. It's one of my strengths too. So the next thing I want to talk about would be tarot readers as counselors. I did a short video on this, and I've done plenty of tarot videos, and a lot of them was on the major arcana. But I've never actually done one that would go into detail about, okay, what is actually happening. So I want to do a video. I did a video on that. Okay. A lot of times with tarot, there is what the person, the querent, there is what they are coming to you for, and then there is what is beneath what they're saying. They will ask a question, but what they're really wanting is something else, and it's usually some type of need that's needs to be fulfilled. So, tarot reader as counselor. So, what do you imagine that people want when they come for tarot readings? Well, on the surface, they want information, maybe some hidden information, some things that they may not know. I'm surprised at how many people come for tarot readings and they actually already know the answer. They just wanted some type of confirmation. Because when we're in life and we have our eyes open and our ears open, we pick up information a lot of times unconsciously. So part of us already kind of knows what's going on. But then I understand that some people don't want to deceive themselves, so they might go to someone for confirmation. So, what type of things do I think that they want? I think that they want reassurance. That's one thing. They want someone to tell them, and you can't always tell them this, that things are going to be okay. Because what does okay mean? In the end, hopefully you won't die. Sure, everything's going to be okay. We can't really say that things are going to be pleasant. The cards might indicate that things are coming, that if they left unchanged and unchecked, that there certainly won't be comfort. Um, so reassurance that, hey, you're going to get through this. Number two, I think that people want some type of direction. They don't know what to do. And maybe you can give them some information that would help them with that. Maybe the tarot card reader can say, okay, let's say that you do this, you take this action, let me pull some cards and see how that works out. Hmm. Yeah, that's a possibility. That could work. And sometimes people just want some type of reasonable solutions. I've known some tarot readers who were very wise and were able to impart some information that was very helpful to a client that was just maybe common sense wisdom. And it was something that the person could use. They did use. So there's a lot going on in tarot readings than sometimes meets the eye. All right, the other one I wanted to talk about was self hypnosis with winning sports bets. Now, I'm always hesitant to post these videos about gambling and betting and things like that because I always run into people who just kind of it brings out it brings out a certain type of people. Um, for instance, when you talk to people who do counseling with gambling addicts, they'll talk about one of the things that fuels the gambling addict to keep going back to the casino or the betting is that they have this fantasy in their head about how things are going to play out, and it usually play in their head. It's a big long winning streak, and they're going to make all this money and pay all their bills and do all these wonderful things, and then it's a rude awakening when that doesn't happen. Then they start losing, they chase their losses, spend even more money. So when I'm offering techniques and things to help with gambling and winning more, that's what I'm saying. I certainly am not saying that you're going to win every time, but I think that these techniques, because I've played with them to some degree, that will help you win a little bit more than you would without them. And it is an area of exploration. It is an area like all magic that is subject to practice and tweaking things and trying things. It's about self discovery and about learning about your abilities. And that is the point. The point is not to use these techniques. And if you don't make $100,000, you're going to come and leave nasty comments on my videos. Let me message she needed to give me in my editor. Ah, Fox Shrewd Wit. Okay, cool. But if you want to get a
Fourth divorce is
hold on a second.
getting married for a fifth.
If you want to have a quick laugh, go to Amazon and put in something like gambling, roulette, um, poker, or something like that. And there'll be people who wrote books telling you the kind of the basics of how some of these games work, maybe some things that you can do to help you stay in the game longer. No one promises that these people are going to be wealthy and live in these mansions, but they all of these gambling books get like 1 or 2 stars because that didn't happen and that was never promised to them. So that's why I sometimes am hesitant to talk about some of these videos. So let me go over and talk about the technique real quick. All right, so first that there is, of course, hypnosis, and I'm sure you all are familiar with that. Hypnosis is something that you do with somebody, so it involves two people, the hypnotist and the person who is being hypnotized. Now, with self hypnosis, you can use some of those same techniques on yourself. It's a little different because you put yourself in kind of the hypnotic state, which there are techniques to do, and give yourself some suggestions for change. And then you take yourself out of it and go about your business. Do it once, twice a day, or as time goes on, these suggestions, they start to, uh, I guess, get stronger over time. The idea is that these suggestions are temporary but cumulative. So if you were working on something for, I know they say 21 days to establish a new habit. Let's say that you did it for 21 days. You wouldn't necessarily need to do it every day after that. So how do you do this with gambling? There are people who um, have, I guess, maybe have a beliefs. Okay, I don't have any good luck. No good fortune. The world is against me. Hey, how's it going? Yo, that would be something to work on. Because you're not going to get the other suggestions that that you can be a successful gambler of sports betting, that you can accurately pinpoint who is going to win. All these types of suggestions, so they're not going to mean anything. They're going to like bounce off, so to speak, to use kind of a metaphor. Because there's something about self-esteem and other things inside that person that needs to be addressed first. The second thing that self-hypnosis does is that the idea of hypnosis and self-hypnosis, you're trying to bypass what they call the critical faculty, and that is the part that evaluates, judges, is sometimes negative. It's part of the conscious mind. And you want to kind of bypass that to open yourself up to inspiration, intuition, that sort of thing. And that is where, when you are going to pick your teams, players, boxers, MMA people out of the contest to bet on. I talk about sports betting for a particular reason. Casinos, when you go there, and if you are an empath, if you are somebody who is intuitive and a little bit psychic, there is a lot going on in casinos. There is a lot of flashing lights, there's a lot of sounds from slots, there are people talking, there are people drunk, there are people moving and shifting and trying to talk to you and all this other type of stuff. And it isn't the best environment to play certain things. So if you wanted to get on your FanDuel or DraftKings sports app and sit in your pajamas on your couch and tune in and do your hypnosis and pick your team, hit the button, and that's it. wait until it's over and see what happens. That's a much more comfortable way of going about things, or at least I find it. It may not be as exciting as, or stimulating as some people would like, but it definitely is a more calm and peaceful way of gambling. All right, do y'all have any questions so far? Before a lot of y'all came on, I started talking about Mardi Gras because Mardi Gras is right around the corner for us here in Louisiana. I was kind of breaking down king cakes and crews and Mardi Gras balls. Yeah, Mardi Gras balls is another big thing in Mardi Gras. It's just like a everybody dresses up, several hundred people get together, they have bands and they party and drink and eat and do all kind of stuff. But it's all a big thing. Alrighty, folks. If you heard that barking in the background, that is Freya, who wants all of her daddy's attention all the time. I thought I was going to be late because she had to go to the bathroom. I gave her her big Kong for her dinner. She said, I had to go to the bathroom. You know, you bark, bark, bark. I had to bring her out there, and now she wants me to go play with her in the kitchen. So, speaking of dogs, they just had last Saturday the Crew of Mutts. That's a dog parade. So, so people bring their dogs to this particular parade. And these people that organized this parade did not think this out. They had a marching band playing really loud. Dogs started freaking out and barking and caused a whole bunch of chaos. So hopefully they think twice next year. Husky lab mix named Wolfman. Jack says hello. Oh, I love huskies. I had two so far. I don't have any right now, but they're wonderful dogs. They're definitely a breed with, you know, the I feel like a kindred spirit. You know, there's some memes going around and videos and things, and this pops up sometimes, but it'll show something like somebody who's very empathic, somebody who cares about people going around and talking to people and how they over the day accumulate. It's almost like this dark dust, which it kind of looks like, maybe in their aura because they're just absorbing other people's problems, negativity, things like that. And then at the end of the day, the person goes home and hugs their dog. Their dog licks them, and the dog somehow removes all of that from their energy field. And I've always wondered whether that is true because I have a job in the healthcare profession, and definitely when I get home and I have some of that on me, I pick up Freya and we play and give her pats and stuff like that, and I definitely feel a lot better. So dogs could be our healers, you know. I was watching a documentary one time that was talking about how humans and dogs kind of evolved together, and that's why we're so close. Because why aren't other animals? Why don't we keep them in our house, even the ones that are relatively harmless? But we seem to have this special relationship with canines. Now, cats themselves have their own abilities. Cats are very good at detecting spirits, uh, invisible things in your house. So they are not without uh, their spiritual abilities. But anyway, I'm a big believer in pets Pets are very good for your mental health. A lot of research kind of coming out showing that. Petting a cat or a dog has been shown to lower your blood pressure. Um, especially canines are used in as service dogs, PTSD. They've been used to detect cancer. Of course, they're used for certain breeds are used for certain service work, like the military and the police and everything. But anyway, I'm getting way off of the metaphysical occult stuff. So, in any case, folks, I'm going to let y'all go. I hope that you have a good rest of the day. And I'll put links in the description. I was saying that um, I put Moldavite in the attunement store for those who are into that particular stone. And I have a malachite attunement coming within hopefully the next couple days if you enjoy that. In any case, I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye bye.